The quarterback, the most important position in all of sports. Teams either have one they believe will bring them a championship, or they're looking for one. And yet, it's also the most misevaluated position in all of sports.
The San Francisco 49ers select Trey Lance.
Mr. Irrelevant 2022, Brock Purdy.
I'm on the second lace.
Last year, I was on a quest.
Watched a lot of Aaron and the foot pop that he incorporates sometimes in his throwing motion.
I asked the top quarterbacks to ever play the game.
I've got to make sure that I perfectly release this ball.
What is the perfect throwing motion?
I was always just 2 fingers on the laces, 2 fingers off.
I like to get as much as to the top of the ball as I can.
I've had guys try to throw it like I throw it, but they can't throw a spiral.
This year, I'm taking it a step further.
Garrett, play fake.
Instead of revisiting the days when I threw the ball,
What a throw! And what a day.
Jason Garrett rose to the occasion.
I'm going back to when I first began learning the quarterback position.
All right, good job. I'm going to go slow. You tell me who I'm throwing the ball to.
And that started with my dad.
What? I'm going to get the out.
You know, my dad coached and scouted forever. And so I finished playing. 2 weeks later, I'm the quarterback coach of the Miami Dolphins. And I go to my first combine. I'll never forget talking to him on the phone. He's like, "You're going to be enamored with how someone throws the football this weekend. We all want the guy who can throw it. Just remember, that's not playing quarterback."
Yeah.
The Browns will be counting heavily on the capable right arm of Otto Graham.
Finding a franchise quarterback has been priority number 1 in the NFL for a long time. My dad was in football for over 50 years and became a scout for the Cowboys in 1987. 1 year later, he helped find the quarterback that would become a 3-time Super Bowl champion and a Hall of Famer, Troy Aikman. Now, Aikman's talents were obvious to most, and he ended up being the first overall pick. But there have been numerous instances over the years where the experts got it wrong.
Ryan Leaf. Jamarcus Russell. Sam Bradford.
Kurt Warner, Warren Moon, and Tony Romo all went undrafted. And even one of the greatest quarterback gurus of all time made an all-time miscalculation.
You get Giovanni Carmazzi. Tell me where he fits in this current quarterback situation.
Well, he was probably the best quarterback in the draft.
134 picks later, the Patriots selected Tom Brady.
This is the draft report on you. And we condensed this a little bit. And basically it goes, Tom Brady, poor build. That might be accurate.
I would probably agree.
Skinny, lacks great physical stature and strength, and gets knocked down easily.
That sounds like Joe Montana right there.
I didn't think Tom Brady would become Tom Brady. When he was drafted, if you look at what he looked like at the Combine and all those different things, and you would have never thought he was going to be what he became. Same thing, Brock Purdy. Mr. Irrelevant, 7th rounder. Who expected this out of him?
What a play by Purdy, creating second reaction scramble drill.
Bro, the fact that you just are doing this blows my mind. All of us, bro.
There are both sides of the spectrum. You got a guy who's very talented, can throw a ball a mile.
Anthony Richardson, here we go. Matt Landers going deep. Look at that. Oh, my goodness.
But can he lead the team and do all those hard things that are required of an NFL quarterback? And then on the flip side, you got guys that are maybe made for that, but aren't as talented throwing.
Okay.
So it's, how can you find this balance of both? It's tough. I mean, I think that's what all the scouts and GMs and owners, that's their job, to figure that out.
You can't just cut these guys open and see what's inside in regards to their heart, their desire, their want to be great.
Well, the measurables are clearly what gets people in trouble. For years, it's like, oh, can he spin it? That's certainly a part of the game. But the greatest players of all time have not been the people that you said, oh, wow, can he throw it? And so in many ways, the job is miscalculated, right? The sheet that people put out for the measurables is misinformed from its roots.
Right.
I wish they would take a panel of us and let us evaluate quarterbacks, and I bet you their grades would be different.
Yeah.
And so that's what we have done. I've interviewed some of the best to ever play the position and asked them to help me identify the 10 traits most important when evaluating a quarterback. When evaluating quarterbacks, teams consider many factors, like where they went to college, how much they played, and how they performed. But to get a true measure of whether they can flourish in the NFL, quarterbacks need to possess certain traits.
I want to start with what I call non-negotiables.
Wow.
The number one thing, really for any football player, but most importantly for a quarterback, I believe is passion for the game.
I always say this about quarterbacks. It's life and death. Does it mean everything to you?
When you're a kid, you play. You play because you love this game. You love the game of football. Then you start learning fundamentals. You start learning technique. You start learning how to compete and how to win.
It's about honor. It's about respect. We win this game, you're honored. Your kids are honored. Your families are honored. Embrace this moment. Everything we work for is for this moment. Every single play, how bad do you want it?
You can fake it in college. I've seen it for 1,000 years. You cannot fake it as a pro.
Right.
You either love it and you stick around, or you don't and you leave.
If you're out there just to be out there and just to say you play in the NFL or an NFL quarterback, man, I think the game is too good and guys are too good that you'll end up getting caught. You know, it'll humble you.
Especially you get put in a situation where you come in, now you're a backup. You still have that same passion that you had as a starter. You're still preparing the same way when, you know, you're not the guy. And then you are the guy, things aren't going well. You know, you might be losing, the media is blasting you now. You still have that same passion to go out there and keep working as hard.
You gotta love it, man. Because who loves getting knocked down on their butt?
I always said no one cares how much they're getting paid the moment of impact.
Going to keep it and go at the 40. Oh, he gets his helmet knocked off with a vicious hit at the 40-yard line. Wow.
A big piece of passion is grit.
But look at that kid. He got right up. He got right up on his feet and walked back to pick up his helmet.
Because if you don't have the grit to kind of fight through the hurdles and the challenges and like just keep climbing,
Hey, rise up! Hey, take it to another level, all right?
you'll never be as good as you can get. Yeah. Elite football players have elite grit.
Touchdown, Detroit Lions! He's out! He's out! I love you, man.
There were tough years, there were tough situations, playing through injury. Got to treat opportunities in football as ways to, you know, find out about yourself. And I hope people say this guy's tough, this guy's resilient. You know, we're never out of a game, we're never out of a season.
Matthew Stafford, 49 game-winning drives in his career. Trying to start one here, and he's got Atwell all alone!
So that's my second non-negotiable, mental and physical toughness.
When I grew up in high school, college, and even Parcells, stand in there. Don't you dare flinch. Take the hit. And, you know, I was pretty good at that.
The other things I had to deal with was even more of a mental challenge for me. I thought I had credentials enough to, you know, to get drafted as a quarterback. There were teams that said they might take a chance at me later in the draft. Like at that time, there was 12 rounds. Then there were others that wanted to change my position to a wide receiver or defensive back, which I had never played before in my life. It wasn't like it was racism against black athletes, because there was plenty of black athletes playing football. But at that position, at the quarterback position, the leadership position, the face of the franchise position, the guy that the owner wants to take around all his buddies and show off position, yeah, there was a lot of stigma about that we couldn't do that. To be able to persevere through all the different roadblocks and all those different things and still continue to want to get better, still want to play the game.
We got to get better.
Who?
Us.
Mental toughness, one of my best traits.
The other stuff that we've talked about, again, this is all before physical ability, is really who you are. The temperament of a quarterback, I think, is so important. There's different personalities, but the temperament, to me, it starts with a deep down confidence and a drive to be great. I've never met a great quarterback who didn't have that.
Yeah, I agree. And it comes in many forms. Yelling at your teammates.
Come on, run out of the brakes now. Lead it on. Run out of the brake. That's what I'm doing. You run out of the brake.
I'm running out the brake.
Tippy toeing like a.
You don't like to find another damn tight end.
I will. And you're out of here. You're out of here.
Oh, you guys know how to handle that? Mike goes over and they just count him as a lineman. Mike goes left.
You look at Dan Marino, he was more of a feisty guy.
Great stuff.
When I got to know Dan, it made sense to me that he was that way. Joe Montana, a little bit different.
He might have been the bump on you, but there was no safety over the top of it.
He was more laid back, and when I met Joe, I said, okay, that fits with his personality. And then there was a commercial that was out when I was a young kid from Dial Soap. It's called Never Let 'Em See You Sweat. I always tried to have that temperament, no matter what was going on in the game, no matter how physical it got, no matter how much it got out of control. If you looked over at Warren, you'll see that everything was okay. And as long as they felt like everything was okay looking at me, then they felt like the rest of it was going to be okay.
My favorite thing to do is watch post-game in a loser's locker room as they stand in front of the media.
Sure.
And the first question is going to be, well, what went wrong?
Yeah.
You don't know how many more chances like this that you're going to have. I mean, does that make something like this harder?
The mitigating factors that lead to terrible things, there's 1,000 of them.
3rd down and 10. Breeze from the gun. Takes the snap. Throws to the near side. Hit early. Where's the flag? Unbelievable no call.
And you have to have the mental toughness to stand in, take the heat, and recognize that in the end, as you play quarterback, I touch the ball every play, and in the end, I'm the one that needs to be responsible for it.
We knew this was going to be a battle. We knew it was going to come down to the wire. Felt like there were some more plays that we could have made. So regardless of a call or no call or what, I felt like there were other opportunities for us that I wish we could have taken advantage of.
Had the great opportunity to coach in the Pro Bowl. And I'll never forget, Pro Bowl practices are loose. Guys don't really want to be there. They're kind of hanging out with their family and friends. And you're standing next to me, saying the play out loud, going through the progression. Where does that come from?
I'm just wired. I'm just wired a certain way. And the way you do anything is the way you do everything, right? And so I only know one way. Even in a game like the Pro Bowl, man, I'm just with these guys for a week. It's not really my team. And we're trying to go accomplish something together, right? And I always felt like I had something to prove. I never arrived, right? Even though we're at the Pro Bowl, because,
No doubt.
No, never arrived. If you would say, like, what was my driving force and motivation throughout my career? Man, it's because I love my teammates, and I want to let them down.
I think it's hard to step in as a rookie, and now you're the face of the team, and you got to be the leader. I think you got to build yourself into that role. You don't want to come across as fake and disingenuous. You want all those guys to believe the message that you're trying to hit home with, and it's not just about saying one thing, it's about, living that every day.
My dad always told us, know who you are and try to lift everybody else up. You have to be a leader of men, understand your situation, understand your environment. How can I be the guy that is the glue guy that brings everybody together?
All the years I played football, you know how many times I stood up in front of the team to talk? None.
I say 0.
None, yeah, I'm not gonna get up in front of the team and talk. I'm gonna try to show you when we're on the field, practice meetings, I'll talk to you, and we have those relationships. I always bring up Bill Parcells, because he probably taught me more than any other coach that I ever had. And he goes, hey, Sims, no matter what you do, there's always gonna be a faction of guys in this team that don't like you, because you're the quarterback.
Tell that undisciplined center we got to get his head out of his.
I'm getting hit a lot, and he is destroying the offensive line.
Hey, fellas, come here, lineman. Come here now.
I'm standing behind him going, get him, Bill. Gosh, get him. This is great.
Now get in the game, man.
So he gets done. He turns around, looks at me, and he goes, and it's your fault. He goes, they used to respect you. They were afraid of you. You were their leader. Now you take them out to dinner. You buy them little gifts. How's that working out for you, Sims? It was true. He was right. I'd kind of lost control of a few little things that I think you have to keep control of as a quarterback.
Quit calling the plays, all right?
We got to run the ball.
Let me pass, block. We'll run the ball.
Can we run it down there?
Just play
We
center.
run it down
Yeah,
there.
Jeff,
Okay, so
we will. All right, we're call pass plays. Block.
The first thing is authenticity. You have to model the behaviors that you're hoping your linemen and your receivers and your back.
Did you say something to him? No, just spike the ball. Yeah, you got to know that they're looking for it.
You have to model it, or else they're going to look at you and go, well, I don't need to do that because he doesn't do it. Right? And so you have to be all of that.
Okay, but here's what I'm going to challenge you on this, because I've thought about this a lot. People talk about authenticity and leadership. Okay, you lose a game 40-0 in the NFL and you're the head coach of a football team. You know what authenticity is? You really think I want to go in the office right now? You really think I want to watch this film, get with the coaches, get with the players, get with the media? Authentic means, hey, I'm not doing that. I always like to use the word aspirational.
I think you said aspirational.
For me, it's like your best self.
Yeah, you know what? You're right, because there's a fake it till you make it kind of reaction that has to be. In other words, I feel like crap. I feel like screaming at somebody. I feel like blaming everyone around me, but I know I can't. And so I want to gather myself and make sure that I continue to model for what I really want the behavior to be for all of us. And that's a real, so I mean, I'm with you. I hear you on that, because if I was authentic, there'd be like 40,000 times I didn't want to even stand up again. So I hear you.
Okay. In the past segments, we discussed the 4 traits most important when evaluating a quarterback, and they all focused on who he is. For the next 2, we finally get to football.
The word that comes to my mind is processing, right? Your ability to process, your ability to problem solve. We see talent all over the place, and yet there's some guys that can put it together and some guys can't. I think the guys that can't, their mind is probably just way too complicated. So it's always, how can we just simplify this game or this moment? And so what I learned was the mechanism for how I can take chaos and I can order the chaos into just a very simple thought process.
So you know how we're going to go choice alert pirate?
Yes, sir.
So if I alert pirate and they go cloud, you run up, give that hint step, and then bend it in front of this guy's face, okay?
Yes, sir.
And I'll just put one on you, all right? Bend it in front of his face on that pump.
It's the ability to, when we say see everything, it's see everything within the context of what play we're running. So we have this play. What do you need to see? Do you need to see the safeties? Do you need to see the pressure? Do you need to understand whether the corner's on or corner? All I got to do is read the outside linebacker. This complex, nuanced game can be very, very simple if you know exactly what you're looking at.
The fundamental piece of quarterbacking is owning the data. Tom Brady made this famous in many ways. What if I got the receiver and he and I just literally had an answer for it no matter what happened?
If that corner starts running high for the backside post, then you can throw the flag too.
It's a lot of class work, it really is.
I think the best are almost obsessive about it. They're constantly thinking about it. Even when you don't think they're thinking about it, they're still thinking about it.
What makes Patrick Mahomes great?
Instincts.
They were all over him, and he just slings it under his hip to McKinnon.
I was in Denver for a Monday night game, and I'm standing on the sidelines, and he scrambles left, and right at the end, someone's gonna hit him, and he puts the ball in his left hand and scoops it to somebody. And it wasn't necessarily the physical act, it was the presence. You call it instinct, I call it guile or street smarts.
Yeah.
It was like I'm in my backyard, and we're doing some fun stuff.
He's gonna try to hold it, throws it late, and is it caught in the, it's caught, touchdown!
I don't understand how you know what I'm doing. I knew you were gonna turn. There's nothing telling you I was gonna do that. And the ball was in the air before I did it. That's what I wanted you to do.
Patrick Mahomes may have the best football instincts in the game today, but before he came along, there were Hall of Famers like Roger Staubach.
Gotta wait twice. Roger, you are something else.
Fran Tarkenton. And Brett Favre.
Obviously, I watched Joe Montana play. I mean, I saw Joe Montana do things that you're just, you know, the reaction like, you gotta be kidding me.
How in the world did he ever get away from all those arms and legs?
It wasn't that kind of a physical feat. It was more, I cannot believe that you have eyes behind your head and that you sense something and then we're able to put it right there.
Looking, throwing in the end zone.
Joe did it different than Dan.
I believe Marino is saying I'm going to spike it.
Marino takes the snap from center. He's looking. He throws. Touchdown, Dolphins!
Dan did it different than John Elway.
Elway, here comes the blitz. He steps away from it and lets the pass go long. He's going for a touchdown.
You're kidding me.
Shannon Sharp makes a catch. Elway was submerged, jumps up and throws a strike to Shannon Sharp at the 4-yard line.
Well, you got to be kidding me.
I did it differently than John Elway.
Young almost falls down. Throws to the end zone.
I mean, it's like everyone did it a little bit differently.
Yeah.
But at its core, ball snap, I know what's going on, and I have the guile, the instinct, the straight smarts, the preparation. And so it's just this calculus, right? As you try to you get the ball, and now you got a couple seconds to figure out what you want to do with it, and then put it in a place where it's safe.
Somehow, some way, Owens right down the middle. The coverage was there. The ball had to be perfect. It was.
And that's why to find somebody who likes it and still has the athletic ability and the guile and the, it's like you got all this stuff, and so little of it is actually measured as you go to draft somebody.
If you ever saw the movie Little Giants, then you know football is 80% mental and 40% physical.
What did they say? 80% mental, 40% physical.
My old teammate and star of Little Giants, Emmitt Smith, knew this well.
You and Plummer, so once you get through there, shake him and go.
Since we're breaking down quarterbacks, I asked another triplet, Troy Aikman, to rank the elements that made him a Hall of Fame signal caller. And like every strong arm I interviewed, Troy's equally strong opinion helped shape this list.
When you're evaluating the things that are important, where do you rank all those things?
You can talk about toughness.
That kid just showed some real grit. He's out.
Leadership.
We can change the game right here.
Intelligence.
Hey, please be smart, all right?
Knowing where to go with the ball.
Panther!
And reading defenses.
52 the mic.
All that stuff's important, but the most important element for any quarterback is accuracy. Can they put the ball where they want to put it?
What's the most important part of throwing?
Accuracy is number one.
What do you value the most?
Yeah, to me, it's accuracy.
Accuracy to me is the most important thing.
Accuracy is the most important trait I think you got to have out there on the field.
Jordan Love just threading the needle.
To me, accuracy is about trust and anticipation. Like, you can feel those moments in a game where a guy's just, right? And you're just like, man, he's feeling it, right? He's in that quote-unquote zone.
Drew Brees is in a groove now. He is rocking.
I've always believed you were naturally accurate, and people say, no, I can teach accuracy. I think you can create small improvements in accuracy, but I think it's either you have it or don't.
Guys can either put the ball where they want to put it or they can't. I've always believed that accuracy is something that you really can't coach.
Don't look at me!
Josh Allen proved me wrong on this. Josh had struggled with accuracy when he first came into the league, but he worked at it, and his accuracy really has improved.
With Josh Allen's arm, he can throw it anywhere on the field, no matter which way he's running. I have like this little strike zone that I can see. If you were to like paint a TV screen of what you see, there's like this little yellow spot where if I can release the ball in this spot every time, I know exactly where I'm releasing it, and in order to change the trajectory, I just do this.
Josh Allen holds the record for greatest improvement in completion percentage over a 2-year span. He found the zone that Phil Simms entered when he set the Super Bowl record for completion percentage, going 22 for 25 against the Broncos.
In the Super Bowl, I never thought about winning and losing. I just thought about the play, and that's all.
One of the greatest performances in the history of the National Football League on the biggest stage.
Phil Simms, the game's most valuable player.
Troy Aikman's the MVP in Super Bowl 27.
You came up to our football camp at Princeton a number of years ago, and you were on a panel with the great Pete Carrill, the Princeton basketball coach. And it was a leadership panel. We were talking about leadership, and Coach Carrill wasn't really listening to anybody. And Finally, after he heard all the discussion, he said, can I say a couple things? And he said, hey, Aikman, you were pretty good at putting that ball right on the money, weren't you? And you said, yeah, I could throw it pretty accurately. He said, that kind of helped your leadership, didn't it?
If you can't throw the ball where you want to throw it, it really doesn't matter, in my opinion, how tough you are or how much leadership you have or how smart you are. You know, the ball's on the ground.
All those other things come easier when you're doing your job. Nobody wants a quarterback that can't throw the ball.
Manning with a perfect throw.
If you can perform it, you don't really need to say much, right? Because guys know what you've been doing to put in the work to get the job done, right?
Oh, by the way, that Drew Brees, he can play.
There is something to be said for being a leader. But I think in team sports, the best leaders are the best players.
I've witnessed quarterbacking excellence firsthand. As a player, I saw the traits that made Troy Aikman an NFL legend. As a coach, I helped Tony Romo and Dak Prescott emerge into a couple of the game's elite passers.
Big time play, man. Big time play. We're not done yet.
So I sat down with Troy and Dak and other legends to draw up a list of 10 qualities that make up a supreme signal caller. We've reached our number 8 trait, arm talent.
My last 4 categories are obviously really important. Sometimes I feel like evaluators put these at the top of the list. But obviously you play quarterback, you're the only guy who throws the ball. Arm talent matters, doesn't it?
It definitely does. There's guys that can get away with managing a game and whatnot, but at the end of the day, man, you really do have to make some throws. Outside the numbers, inside the numbers, you have to have talent to do that.
The ability to throw the football, I don't think you can be great without that trait.
How important is throwing within all the things that a quarterback does?
You can make a bad play good with a throw. You can screw up a play, forget a play, make it something out of the pocket, happen when it didn't have to happen, but make up for it with a great throw.
I'm not sure if Aaron was trolling me to my face or not, but he bounced our team from the 2016 playoffs with a truly amazing throw that made something out of nothing. Unfortunately, he was able to make a big-time play and put them in a position to kick the game winner. You know, at the end of the day, they're going to talk about that guy as, you know, one of the top 3 quarterbacks who ever laced him up. Talent is a gift that requires hard work and dedication. Arm talent is no different. We talked about a lot of the intangible stuff of playing the position, but there's a physical aspect.
Yeah.
And arm talent matters, and nobody has ever thrown it better than you. Could you throw it that way right from the start?
That came from a lot of nights just me and a buddy of mine down the street when I was in high school just throwing. We stayed out there till my mother made me come in the house and just playing catch.
Boom.
Just playing catch.
Hey, who taught you how to throw?
My middle brother, Jace, just growing up in the yard, in the street, just line up in the street, throw it, back up from mailbox to mailbox.
Did anybody teach you how to throw, or was it just something that came naturally to you?
That's from skipping rocks in the creek or the lake or the pond, just throwing anything and everything with my little brother in the backyard.
Who taught you how to throw a football?
I grew up on a ranch, on a farm, just basically rocks and tractors. And so I would get a rock and I would just sit there and try to hit the dumpster, throw it in the dumpster. And as a kid, me and my brother would do that for hours.
I don't know if anybody ever taught me to throw football. I think I was like a lot of kids. I just spent my 10,000 hours in the front yard throwing a football and learning along the way.
Throwing has always come really natural to me. I spent a bunch of time with my dad in the front yard. That's how I learned to throw. My dad and I spent a ton of time in the front yard, either playing catch with a baseball, or back in the day, we used to stand in the street and throw the football up over the power lines and see if I could get the nose to turn over to him.
There are guys that you look at and just say, man, like God-given talent to throw the football. Patrick Mahomes, most guys can't throw it like that.
Mahomes, this guy is a generational arm talent.
Mahomes, honestly, it's unorthodox. It's not the way that most people grew up training, but you have to be able to make every throw on any platform. You turn on the film, he's done it more than anybody.
Mahomes, his arm talent, one of the most unique quarterbacks to come into the NFL.
I like watching Pat play. Pat does things that I tried to do when I was younger.
Oh my, that may be one of the great throws ever made.
Who do you love watching throw right now?
Sam Darnold throws be pissed out of the ball. When it's spinning, it is like shaking because its spin rate is like so high. It's awesome to watch.
6-yard laser thrown by Sam Darnold.
Jordan Love, he's throwing the ball really well.
Every quarterback in the NFL has a certain level of arm talent. You wouldn't be here without that. Playmaking ability, I think that's next. You have the perfect play on paper, and oh snap, the defense has a glove. You got to be able to make plays off schedule and react and have that playmaking ability to make every play off schedule.
He's still in bounds. Patrick Mahomes.
I think Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, seeing the off-schedule plays they're able to make is so fun to watch.
Just how we drew it up.
Football is a game of imperfection. You're going to drop back, and there's going to be some broken down plays or pass protection. How can I use my legs, make a throw on the run, move the chains? At the end of the day, it's can you get the job done?
Cunningham, hit by Carl Banks, maintained his balance, athleticism, beautifully executed.
The number one thing you have to do is learn to be a sophisticated thrower of the football from the pocket.
Yeah.
That is the job. And it's still that way today,
sure,
but it's changed in the last 10 years to include my old game. Being a scrambler was like a swear word, like that just meant that you weren't really a prototype quarterback. I think it's now different because if you're gonna be in the Super Bowl, been proven by the last 10 years, you better be somebody that can threaten the line of scrimmage.
No doubt.
My game, like it's come together, like this is my time, where am I?
Only after you check the boxes for traits 1 through 9 do you come to number 10, physical tools. This is where most evaluators begin. They have it backwards.
Next up, Dak Prescott, Mississippi State.
There's no denying you can see combine measurables on the field, so there must be a place for them on the list.
So Dak Prescott is off the board. That's 6'2 1/4", 226 pounds. He has the size component.
Jason Garrett, as a former quarterback, knows quarterbacks.
Sturdier quarterbacks are harder to bring down.
Dak Prescott showing you how physical and athletic he can be.
How have you seen the quarterback position evolve over the course of your career?
It's definitely evolved. The talent to me is at an all-time high with the athleticism of the position. So for me, it's about continuing to work. Make sure I continue to protect my job.
I'm not worried about you.
6'6" Trevor Lawrence can get the ball over the line of scrimmage better than 5'10" Kyler Murray. Both were still the first overall pick. And there's no denying a fast 40 at the combine usually blooms into a quick 6 on the field.
And your quarterback runs 21.2 miles per hour. How do you stop him?
The game has clearly changed, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. It's just a different game than the one that I played.
Oh, he threw him away like a rag doll.
I love the guys that are playing the game currently. They're really talented, they're doing amazing things, and they're fun to watch.
Yeah. So physical tools is where we finish, not start, our list of 10 traits that go into being a first-rate field general, one who performs his best in the biggest moments. To reach that competitive greatness, a 10-trait athlete must walk the right development path. Scouts and GMs travel the country to find quarterbacks who possess the 10 traits that are most important. You can go to a grocery store searching for all the best ingredients, but you won't have the perfect dish unless you prepare it correctly. The perfect quarterback is no different.
Happy Thanksgiving to you guys.
Thank you, to you too.
All right.
Yours is going to be a good one.
Yeah.
A lot of guys go to the combine, and this guy's tall, and this guy's got long arms and big hands. And he can throw the heck out of the ball.
Jamarcus Russell, 6'5½", 265.
But then he gets drafted in the first round, and you know the numbers. It's less than 50% of the guys who are drafted in the first round are the starter on the team 4 years later.
Yeah.
And so they miss a lot. And then Brock Purdy gets drafted as the last pick.
Brock Purdy started 47 games at Iowa State.
Probably a little too short. Arm doesn't wow you.
Doesn't have an overpowering arm.
But he knows how to play the position.
Has played a ton of football, won a lot of football games.
And he had the right coach. and a team that could help him. Does the coach and the team give you at least some chances so you can really do what you hope to do?
How important is the environment that a quarterback's playing in? You're playing for one of the best guys in the NFL, in Kyle Shanahan.
I think it's huge.
All right, Brock, if it's not there, you got your back in the flat.
Coming into a situation where all I need to do is focus on my job and everyone else is doing their job really well, it allowed me to flourish pretty quickly.
Brock Purdy, the rookie, is going to the title game.
Sometimes you see some organizations that sort of all over the place, and then they draft a young quarterback who's talented, and they just expect him to change the place, and that's tough, man.
The first 2 years were obviously tough, man. Like the situation we were in and everything.
Daniel Jones playing the best football of his career. I don't know that anyone could have predicted this, but a change of scenery, change of coaching staff, and really justified why he was the number 6 pick overall.
Look at Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold. Those are guys that we would say failed. And then they got a chance to learn more about the game and how to play, and they became leaders of the team.
Right. Let's go now, boys.
That was a grown man professional football drive.
A lot of these guys are not given the time that it takes when you go to a bad organization because you're a high-round draft pick to be able to make that transition, and they give up on you too quickly.
With the 10th pick, the Arizona Cardinals select Josh Rosen, quarterback, UCLA.
Arizona now becomes only the second team in the common draft era to take a back-to-back quarterback with their number 1 pick.
The perfect quarterback needs to be in a position where he can learn, he can develop. I think one of the things is to sit behind an experienced veteran guy so they can develop some knowledge, experience, wisdom prior to ever having to step on the field.
Drew Brees learned from Doug Flutie and imparted that wisdom onto Phillip Rivers.
Never conversion on him. That's what I saw.
Aaron Rodgers followed Brett Favre for 3 years at the start of his Packers career.
Put her in the old mice!
Before leading the way for Jordan Love at the end.
I'm here, a first-round pick drafted in the NFL, which is a dream come true. And then on the other hand of that is, all right, well, Aaron Rodgers is there, and he is the starting quarterback. So I know that I'm going to be coming in, and it's going to be more of a developmental deal for me here in Green Bay. And being behind a great like Aaron Rodgers, I knew I was going to learn so much.
I always think about Patrick Mahomes, arguably the best player in the NFL right now, one of the all-time greats. He sat his whole rookie year.
I don't know what I would have been like my rookie year if I was thrown into that fire, seeing A-Rod in practice every day, and you're like, man, I'm not as good as I thought I was. You know, it's a very humbling experience.
After struggling as a top pick in Tampa, Steve Young spent 4 seasons studying the skills of Joe Montana.
Anyone who's ever been really good at quarterback can thank a lot of people. You have to have a lot of help.
Kurt Warner only spent a few months developing under Brett Favre in 1994.
You go to camp with Green Bay, and then it's 3 years Iowa Barnstormers. Right. You go play for the Amsterdam Admirals, you finally come back, Trent Green gets hurt, and the rest is history.
Yeah. As much as I wanted to make the Packers and be in the NFL, I get cut, and I end up playing basically 4 seasons of football, 3 in the Arena League and 1 in Europe. Had I made the team, I'd have been a backup to Brett Favre, would have never seen the field except for preseason. I got to play all of this football in the Arena League, which was, you're supposed to score. It's about accuracy, processing, getting the ball out quick. All things that would become my calling card in the National Football League.
You've done quite a job, man.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
No, quite a job.
Waiting for that chance.
Well, hey, you got it, and you've done the most with it.
To achieve competitive greatness, quarterbacks must check all 10 boxes on the list of essential traits. Those who display those attributes on the field, in the right situation, with the right supporting cast, are the ones who ultimately display the Lombardi Trophy at the end of the season and a Hall of Fame bust at the end of their career.
I had the pleasure of playing with a very gifted and special group of players. I'm honored as well to have Norv Turner here today as my presenter. There's no doubt in my mind that if Norv Turner had not entered my life, I wouldn't be joining these men in the Pro Football Hall of Fame today. Thank you, Norv. I wouldn't be here without you.
So much of us as quarterbacks, we're a product of how we're coached.
You can study and do all you want about these quarterbacks coming out, but I don't know if you could ever really get the exact read on them that you want, because we got to get them in here and see them every day, practice the game, how the game affects them. Can they overcome the fact that it's not going well? Can they be tough enough to fight their way through it? I mean, all these things, they're endless.
Yeah.
The list, it would be 100 things.
If one could design the ultimate quarterback in a lab, they might grab a trait from each of the greats who joined me on my journey. Take a dash of Drew Brees' fiery passion.
We got to win this game tonight with passion and emotion.
And a touch of Phil Simms' toughness. Combine the temperament of a youngster like Brock Purdy or Jordan Love.
Just gotta stay together, bro, all of us.
And add in Kurt Warner's old-school leadership.
It's like nothing you've ever felt before.
A prototype QB can have Steve Young's football intelligence, fused with Dak Prescott's football instincts. He may possess Troy Aikman's accuracy, mixed with Warren Moon's arm talent.
What a throw!
Throw in Aaron Rodgers' playmaking ability.
Aaron Rodgers throws an absolute dart between two defenders. Where'd it go?
And cap it off with Josh Allen's physical tools.
I love it! I love it! I love it! I love it!
The truth is, the perfect quarterback doesn't exist. And the great ones don't contain each trait in equal measure. It's finding the balance that remains an ongoing mystery.
We're getting better at developing quarterbacks. There's still misses, but the misses, if I took the last 10 years versus the previous 30, I think the odds of missing we're getting better at it because I think the game has changed.
Oh my gosh.
You deserve that.